These creamy shrimp fried turnovers, traditionally called rissois, were brought by the Portuguese to Goa. Hi, you're watching Plating It at Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. Perfect for any occasion, these rissois will disappear in minutes. I'm so excited to share this recipe with you, so let's get started. Let's start by making the filling. For that, we're going to be using 450 grams or 1 pound of shrimp. I've already washed them, deveined them, dried them and salted them. I put about 2 teaspoons of salt to salt the shrimp. I'm cutting them into halves because they're really huge shrimp, and then I'm going to chop them really fine because we do not want any huge chunks in the filling. When cooking seafood, I always like to salt it at least half an hour before I cook it because that gives it a chance to absorb the salt and give out the best flavor. The base of the sauce is a bechamel or a white sauce. For that, let's add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We're going to add 4 finely chopped cloves of garlic, 1/4 cup of finely chopped onion. We're going to saute the onions and the garlic so that they flavor the butter well. And once the onions turn a light golden brown, we're going to introduce the shrimp. Butter, garlic, shrimp, my favorite combination. Now let's saute this till the shrimp are almost done. To this, we're going to add 1 cup of whole milk. As the milk is heating up, let's start flavoring the filling. We're going to be adding half a teaspoon of ground black pepper and half a teaspoon of chili flakes. To that, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg because bechamel and nutmeg go hand in hand. Let's finish this off with a fresh herb. Today I'm using finely chopped cilantro. We're going to allow the milk to heat up till it comes to a light simmer. While we're waiting for that, let's prepare a slurry. We're going to be using 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and adding 2 tablespoons of cold water. Let's mix it together. Once the milk comes to a simmer, let's reduce the heat and introduce the slurry. Let's keep stirring this continuously because it's going to thicken up and we want a nice smooth sauce. Once the sauce is thickened, we're going to be using 1/4 cup of cheese. Today we're using mozzarella cheese. You could even use cheddar if you prefer. Now let's give the sauce a taste for salt. I did not add any salt in the beginning because we had already salted the shrimp and we were going to add cheese. Now that the sauce has thickened, we're going to empty it into a bowl and allow it to cool down. Now that the filling has cooled, let's cover it up with a plastic wrap and refrigerate it for at least 4 hours before we make the pastry dough. I'm going to touch the plastic wrap right to the surface of the filling so that we do not have any condensation. That will fall back into the filling and thin it out. The filling has got a chance to cool down and firm up in the fridge. Now we're going to leave it out to come to room temperature while we prepare the pastry dough. Now we're going to be making the pastry dough, which is essentially a choux pastry. For that, we're going to be heating up 2 cups of whole milk, 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and almost a teaspoon of salt. If you're using coarse salt, a teaspoon of salt would work well. Once the milk comes to a simmer, we're going to add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're going to give it a rigorous mix. This is going to be a full upper body workout, but just keep going at it and keep stirring till all the dough comes together and forms into a nice smooth ball. Once the dough has come together and has left the sides and the bottom of the pot, let's flip it onto a working board. You do not want to put it onto a marble or any chilled surface because you want to retain the heat in the dough. The dough is really hot, so with the help of a bench scraper or any kitchen tool that you prefer, let's give it a light knead to just smoothen it out. Now we're going to divide the dough into 3 portions, and while we work with 1 portion, we're going to cover the other 2 so we retain the heat. There's butter in the dough, so cooling down the dough only hardens it, which makes it more difficult to handle. Let's slightly dust our work surface with a little all-purpose flour, and we're going to roll out the dough till we get a nice smooth and fairly thin sheet. There are various methods of filling the rissois. Some do it in log form, some cut out all the little disc before, but I prefer this way. I'm using a trigger release ice cream scoop and I'm going to scoop out the filling and place it on the pastry. Now I'm going to take one end of the pastry and flip it over the filling. Using my fingers, I'm going to now press down around the filling. This is going to help to seal the rissois. I'm going to be using a cookie cutter to cut the rissois. This is really cool because you can actually control the shape of the pastry. And we're going to place it onto another surface which we have also dusted with a little all-purpose flour so that we prevent it from sticking. Let's continue making the rissois till we finish all the filling. You should get around 36 to 40. And let's cover them up while we continue making them to prevent them from drying up. Now let's deep fry these delicious babies. In a heavy bottom pot, we're going to heat up some vegetable oil on a medium heat. In one bowl, we're going to add 1.5 to 2 cups of breadcrumbs. And in another bowl, we're going to make an egg wash. We're first going to beat up 3 eggs. And to that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of water and whisk it together. Now let's create a workstation. It's going to be dip, dip, fry. We're going to take the rissois, dip it in the egg wash with one hand, and with the other hand, coat it with the breadcrumbs. Now once the oil is nice and heated, we're going to deep fry the rissois. You don't want to overcrowd the pot. Just put about 4 or 5, depending upon the size of your pot. Let's fry them till we get a nice golden brown color to the rissois. Don't over fry them because they will split in the oil. Once they're nice and golden brown, let's take them out and put them on a wire rack to cool down and drain. Now let's plate them and cut one open. Wow, look at that. As you know, this is the moment I wait for. So now let's give this delicious appetizer a taste. If you're new to my channel or haven't subscribed already, subscribe, and if you hit on the bell icon, you'll get a notification every time I upload a new video. If you enjoy watching my videos, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and leave me your comments below. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The information is in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you soon.